136. It is San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090. The college basketball season locally starts tonight, baby. 8 o'clock live from Viejas Arena. Pre-game show starts at 7:30. Jordan Caruth will be there courtside, and I'm guessing he'll be there in front of 12,414. 8 o'clock. It'll be on the radio, on the Mighty 1090. It'll also be on ESPNU. I hope they actually sent broadcasters here. That's another story. Let's say hello to Brian Dutcher. He's the AHC, the HCIW, and for the very first time for the 2016 and 17 season, we say hello to Brian Dutcher on the Mighty 1090. What's happening, Dutch?
Hey, Darren, it's basketball time. It's hard to believe, but the season's arrived.
How was your off season?
It was good. It's always the same. A lot of recruiting, a lot of trying to build for the future, and now that we've done that with early signing, we're here in the present, and we're going to try to get this version of the San Diego State Aztecs off to a great start tonight.
Are you ready? Do you feel ready? You had a couple of exhibition games. You've had a million practices. You've been practicing since the middle of October. You've been thinking. You've been tinkering. But now it's here tonight. How do you feel right now, hours before your season starts?
Darren, I've been here 18 years, and this is probably the strangest fall camp we've ever had. We've never had the injuries that we've had to deal with this early in the season. And with that being said, we don't feel any of them are maybe season-ending, but they've just been a nuisance, whereas Malik Pope and Valentine and Zundu, haven't played in either exhibition game. Nolan Narain's missed time. Techie's missed time. We've had a lot of guys miss time, and so we're encouraged for what we see, but we want to get off to that great start, and maybe we haven't had enough guys with quality exhibitions, quality scrimmages to ensure that. So as a coach, we're probably a little apprehensive.
Okay, now I'm sure you'd rather have everybody 100% healthy, but you're also coaches, which means that you're forced into finding silver linings no matter what situation, what hand you're dealt.
Without question, I'm going to use the next man up cliche.
Oh, please don't do that. We get enough of that.
We'll say next man up, and we've got a deep roster. We've got a lot of really good players, so we will say next man up and go to work.
Okay, well, let's come up with a better one than next man up. But I understand the sentiment from the coaches. But I'll ask you, though, what kind of opportunity does this present for however long Malik Pope is out or anybody else? Who stands to benefit from the opportunities that they will have tonight and perhaps for the next couple of weeks in the absence of some notable players?
And I failed to mention, obviously, Matt Shrigley with a sprained ankle, who is, invaluable, so we're going to miss him. The thing that makes us do, Darren, is play a little bit out of the realm that we would normally play in. We're playing Dakari Allen as a power forward when we all know he's a wonderful wing and defender there, but to make do, we're going to have to play him at a power forward. And what it does is it makes you play players out of position. And so that's a good thing and a bad thing. So when you get other guys back, you have the versatility to move pieces around. We've always done a good job of that. And so we're just being forced to move pieces around. Instead of us doing it when we say we can create mismatches, we're having to do it out of necessity. So guys are playing out of position a little bit. But with that being said, that's the nice thing of having seniors sometimes like Dakari, and that can play multiple spots.
Talking to Brian Dutcher, he's the associate head coach and the head coach in waiting. San Diego State basketball tonight, the city championship opposite USD. Dutch, I don't have the statistics right in front of me. I'm out at Del Mar, limited computer access. But I'm willing to bet you that San Diego State in conference play last year was somewhere at the bottom statistically. You guys won a lot of games. You won 16 out of your 18 conference games before the conference tournament. But statistically, from an offensive standpoint, you were like 9th, 10th, or 11th. I don't have it in front of me in scoring. And I wonder what will be different here this year. Was that even a point of emphasis? Because, again, it's kind of a two-way street here. You won a bunch of games, but you were in the bottom of the conference when it came to scoring offense. Is that something you guys talked about, and is that something you think will improve this year?
As much as scoring, Darren, it's our efficiency. Because our defense is so good that most teams don't get really quick shots. They might run a 30-second shot clock to get a shot most of the time. And so just having to play defense lowers the possession and the scoring goes down. So the scoring is less important as efficiency. If we're shooting in the 40 percentile, low 30s in games, we're at the bottom of the conference in free throws. We're turning it over 15 to 20% of our possessions. Those are things we've really tried to work on. And so we've increased the pace of our play. We're trying to increase the flow of which we play with, so we're getting into our offense quicker. We're getting to quicker set plays to try to get quicker, early, good shots. And so we're trying to pick our pace up offensively and cut our turnovers. Our turnovers were way too high last year, so that's been a real emphasis. And I think in the 2 exhibition games, we've done a pretty good job. I think we might have had 12 turnovers in each exhibition game, which, a year ago might have been 15 to 18. And so we'd like to get that around 10 a game or lower. Just it's more of a percentage how many possessions we have, but obviously we want to take better care of the ball, get better, quicker, early shots, and then obviously continue our great defense that we've played over the years.
And all of that efficiency then you think will lead to more points, more buckets, more points on the scoreboard at the end of the game?
So I'd hope so. We would hope so. So that it's always a master plan, and so we've worked hard at it. The thing we've talked about continuously in our meetings is flow. We want better flow. We don't want to walk it up the floor and be slow getting into stuff. We want a flow where the other team defensively not sure what we're in. We got to hand off into a ball screen, into a down screen, and just get better flow right away, get the defense chasing us a little bit, and get opportunities for Trey Kell and Jeremy Hemsley and Malik Popes to get better early looks and let Zylan do what he does, be creative, be aggressive, but yet a little bit more under control.
Okay, let Zylan do what he does. What he did
Zylan's an aggressive player. Sometimes
at the
end of a game you say Zylan was the best player on the floor, and then you ask why, and you say because he plays so hard. And so we have to take Zylan from 80 miles an hour down to about 65. So we want that same enthusiasm, attack mode, but we don't want him turning the ball over 4 times a game because he's putting himself in bad positions. So we've worked real hard with him. He's very much improved. His shot is very much improved. His pace of his play is very much improved. So now we've got to see what happens with game slippage, if he can maintain what he's done through the 2 exhibition games into the regular season.
Game slippage. All right, good term there.
Game slippage.
What does that mean?
That means when you get in the game and the crowd is in the stands, you tend to revert back to old habits. You go too fast. You try to make things happen too fast instead of playing at that nice, comfortable pace that you practice with and then maybe play in the exhibition games with. When it's a live game, you tend to rush a little bit. And so we're trying not to rush as a team. We want to be quick but not fast.
There's been a little bit of chatter, Dutch, around Zylan in particular, that he's got a little bit of a perimeter game heading into his second season.
I think his balance is so much better on his jump shot. He's got his base set, and, we're willing to let Zylan take those threes and shoot a decent percentage. That will stretch the defense. Now, he's not going to make a ton of them, but, people don't crowd up on him. He's such a good penetrator that they're going to give him looks. And so we've got to hope that confidence is there and that when he makes a couple that it'll force the defense's hand a little bit. Some people obviously live with him shooting those early defensively, but if he makes a couple, that will change the game.
Interesting. Now, I had heard perimeter game. I hadn't heard from beyond the arc. That one is new to me. That's news. Secret weapon.
Well, it is news. We're going to see if it's good news or bad news. If it goes in, it's good news. If it doesn't go in, then he'll have to limit it and maybe shoot foul line jumpers in. But Darren, his jump shot has improved, without question. He does what you do. Over the summer, it's for individual development. You work on your game. But once we get here in October, it's getting the team better. So he used his time individually to improve his jump shot, to improve his level of play. And so now we have to translate that into our team play. And so I'm excited to get Zylan out there as a junior and see where his game's at.
Yeah, okay. Like you took me by surprise with the 3-point stuff because I have it here. He's 3 for 17 in his career.
Hey, we got to get that percentage up.
Yeah, I would say. I would say.
It's all, shooting is incredible. Like Ben Perez is as good a shooter as we had in the program last year, but he hit a stretch in the conference where he was 2 for 26. So a lot of it's confidence, it's timing, it's getting in a rhythm, and so even good shooters can struggle. So I think Zylan is going to be a good shooter. Is he ever going to be a great shooter? Time will tell. But if he gets his confidence up, he makes a couple, he'll cause some issues for the defense.
Brian Dutcher joining us.
Especially if he's playing the center position. If he's playing the center and they're guarding him with a center, those guys don't like coming out away from the basket very far. And so he's not going to have contested looks. He'll probably be able to toe the line, get his feet set, and get a good look at it. So I have confidence in Zylan. So hopefully that will relate to game play, and he'll make some.
Hey, Dutch, last year, I know it's in the rearview mirror you're preparing for tonight, but real quick, was last year a good year for San Diego State? You guys won almost 30 games. You made it to New York. Would you say that was a good year for San Diego State, or was your final analysis of what happened last year that it was disappointing?
I don't think it's ever disappointing when you go 16-2 in the conference and you win, you win the title, the regular season. There are disappointing things that happen. Lose to Fresno in the championship game in a very close game. You've been to the NCAA tournament 6 straight years. You want to go 7. Yeah, so there's disappointments in there. But the biggest disappointment is if you feel your team doesn't play hard, it doesn't perform, it doesn't get better. I think we did all those things. We started the preseason at 7-6. So obviously we were concerned at that time. We weren't playing at the level we were used to playing with. And so over the year, we take a team that's 7-6 and go 16-2. And so we were very encouraged by that. And I think if it wasn't for a down Mountain West Conference, we'd have been in the NCAA tournament. That usually puts you in. But because the conference as a whole had a down year, there was no room to gain RPI, quality wins. There was no opportunity for us to improve our resume in our own conference season. And so with that being said, we've got to continue to do what we did last year. We have to play good teams like Cal and beat them. We have to play the Gonzagas. We have to play the Pac-12 schools, find ways to win those games and build our resume in the preseason, and then hope that our conference does the same, that they can win non-conference games. So when we get to conference, we have an opportunity to improve a resume.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, Dutch, you can't rely on them. So I know you guys got to manage your own business here starting tonight and then going up to Gonzaga on Monday night. Last thing for you, this is the first season in 5 years that you guys have not had Winston Shepard. And Winston Shepard he was a leader in a lot of different statistical categories. I don't know how much of a leader he was inside of the locker room. But as you move on, as your team takes on a new personality here, whose personality do you think it takes on? Which player do you think ends up setting the tone inside of your locker room and on the court?
Well, that's the interesting part, Dan. We will find out. Obviously, we lost 2 of the winningest players in program history in Skylar Spencer and Winston Shepard. I don't know if any player in the history of Aztec basketball has won more games than those 2. And so they're going to be missed, but it's opportunity for other people. I think Zylan is the most enthusiastic voice we have. The captains right now are Trey and Dakari, and they'll do a great job leading. But we'll see who steps up. That's the hard part for us right now. With Malik not playing in either exhibition game after playing maybe his finest fall when he was healthy that he's had since he's been here, his level of play has really gone up. Malik Popes. And then Valentine and Zundu, basically Skylar too, as far as a player, a shot blocker, a physical presence inside, has missed 8 to 10 days with a sprained ankle. So a lot of questions to be answered. We have the pieces, but even as a coaching staff, until we can get them all out there in a game situation, it may take us a week or 2 or 3 weeks to get a Match Wrigley back to figure out what we really are. So we've got to try to win these games a little shorthanded and just say that the guys we have are enough to win games, but the team could maybe be special if we get all our pieces back and healthy.
Hey, Dutch, start of the season, a little later on tonight, 8 p.m. live from Viejas Arena. Pregame show starts at 7:30, 8 p.m. tip-off. It'll also be on ESPNU. Good to talk to you again. Good luck this season. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, Darren, bet on the gray horse.
There's one right in front of me here, so I will make
bet
sure.
Bet on that gray horse, and we'll split the winnings.
Is that's your strategy? Bet on the gray horse. That would be the number 4 in race number 4.
The 4 in race number 4, well, let me know how that goes.
Well, it's a 25-1 shot right now. It's the longest shot on the board.
Well, a lot of money to be made, my friend. I wish you good luck because as a college basketball coach, I don't wager on sporting events.
Of course. The lesson of Rick Neuheisel. Thank you, Dutch. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Darren.
See ya.